That's great.
So what's up, Joe? What have you been covering? What have you been into lately?
Tim Pool, Kanye.
So now we're going to talk about it, because look, I was gonna come at you talking about like 9/11 conspiracy theories, because it was kind of slow. Honestly, things were boring. I was like, Joe said some crazy shit over the years. Let's just go over the crazy shit Joe said and like make fun of him for all this stuff. But I'm like, holy shit, Kanye West. No, this trumps everything else between the Tim Pool, Trump, and then Kanye, and then the Alex Jones, and then on top of that, I don't think I've ever gotten how you feel about. I know you think you've talked about Milo, but I don't think you've ever gone on the record about Fuentes. So there's this weird crew. I mean, I would have never expected Kanye West, Milo, and Fuentes to be kind of like teamed up, but now it's making more sense. More sense.
To me, the best thing that came out of this whole Fuentes deal is how he exposed Nick Fuentes as being a simper for money and power. Because
Nick is came out as a full grifter. I mean, the fact that he did this, like he's
sitting there nodding at him when he's like, they took everything away from me, and that's why I would make the best president, and that's why I'm the best possible candidate to be president. And Nick Fuentes is going like, yeah, this guy. It's like, fine, if you have his hate list, Jews are certainly top of the list. Blacks are right behind them, as are gays. Right. So it's like he's sitting there like, oh yeah, you should be the next president. Please. That's what this guy is nodding his head. He's like, yeah, that's not really right. I think that he should get.
And Nick was the guy who did the setup on the. You obviously, I'm assuming everyone has seen the Tim Pool clip. I assume that everyone has seen the clips from Alex Jones. By the way, obviously, I can't play the Alex Jones ones because we won't get heated so far off the internet. Yeah. It won't be funny. Yeah. But you can find them. They're very easy to find. So you go out there and find it on your own children. But he was the one. Nick Fuentes was the one that set Tim Pool up to the point where Tim Pool had to say something or else he was going to get kicked off of YouTube. If he said, "Oh yeah, the Jews, there's a reason why we can't talk about." He would get kicked off of YouTube.
Well, see, this is the whole thing. A lot of people love to hate on Tim Pool, and he's a very flawed person. And tonight, I actually plan on, after I'm doing my stream at 10, I actually plan on talking, like actually looking at the breakdown of what Adam Krigler said about the whole dissolution there and Tim Pool's veiled reaction to that. So I'm actually going to be playing that clip and going through, because I think there's a lot of life lessons that go beyond Tim and Lydia and Adam. But I think that Fuentes, he looked like he felt like the smallest fish in the room, and I think that
well, he physically is. I know Tim is short, but like Fuentes is like a scraggly little bean of a kid, So he's a kid,
I always believed that he was actually had enough integrity that he believed the idiocy that he believes. But now I question whether even that's true, because we know Milo is a shock jock who's just like, I'll say whatever it is that will get me attention and my, and 5 minutes of fame.
And to be fair, you've gone on the record and said that you've been very consistent about saying that about Milo. I know we've had this conversation before about Milo, but I want to repeat it. You said that, and I agree with you, by the way. I think you're exactly right. Milo will be whatever he needs to be to get attention at the time. Whatever he needs to do to push the edge, to piss people off, to get the attention, to stay relevant. Milo's going to be Milo, and he's going to do that. And this is his latest thing to be relevant.
Yeah, because talked about, when's the last time we talked about Milo in the last 5 years? Ever since he was outed as being a groomer, everyone was basically like, we're done with this idiot.
Yeah.
So
he's also, like Christina said, he's a documented federal informant in the Heinz Kessler case. Yeah. So once again, he's all over the place. Apparently. I'm trusting Christina on that one. She does her research.
Oh, that was Veramatics right there. I missed the.
That's Christina. That's Veramatics. Yeah.
Well, good to see.
So I assume that she did some research on that. Yeah, she's been on your channel. I know. But
with respect to
whatever he pretended to be Christian. He pretended to all this other stuff. Obviously this is all bullshit.
I also don't think. I know Kanye believes he's some genius. I don't think he's like very bright. I think he has definitely creative abilities. There's no question. But I think that when he talks about how he has 7 thoughts coming to his head at once, and he picks like the best one out of all of them, and that doesn't explain why it is that he can't get out a coherent sentence. That's all of us have multiple thoughts going through our head at the same time. That's not a sign of any sort of. He's like as if he's like this unique individual that he has multiple thoughts going through his head at the same time, and he's got to struggle to pick which one am I going to throw out there. Everyone has that. That's just like
that's
part of being a human.
That's what you and I do on a daily basis. We have to look
Of
at the
course.
chat. We have to look at you. We have to look. Okay, like someone's talking about porn in my locals live chat. I'm like, do I talk about that or not? Like, like that's what adults do. Like adults balance multiple things and they choose what comes out of their mouth. Now, sometimes you don't.
It's also while you're talking,
articulate it right.
Yeah. It's also while you're talking,
You know.
I'll have 3 different thoughts and I have to pick which thought do I want to go down. That's like,
Sure.
and we all have that. That's not unique to me. That's part of actually having a brain that's, that's above Neanderthal level. And he's sitting there like as if this makes him some sort of Einstein and that he's got to struggle to figure out which one is he going to throw out there. And that's why he can't say 4 sentences in a row which are consistent with each other. He went from talking about how he loves Trump and Trump is amazing and that he's always had a great relationship with Trump because Trump stabbed him in the back and he's going to take Trump down. It's like, what are you saying? No one can figure out what you're saying. He's sitting there going on and on about how they're trying to throw him in prison. Every time he was picking like, the problem with the president, it's like, oh, whoever happens to be the Jew near him, that's the guy who's causing all the problems for him. Really? That guy? It's like it was Robert Manuel who was causing the problems for him.
This would have been.
By the way, your
right
audio
Dylan.
keeps coming and going. Your audio.
Oh, is it echoing? Okay,
no,
so
it's not echoing. It's like all of a sudden, like you'll be talking,
come in and out.
For like,
okay, hold on.
like
Let me
2 seconds. I won't hear.
Hold on. Let me move it. That should be a little bit better.
All right.
Hopefully it comes a little bit better. But anyways, when Kanye and Nick asked, "Who are they?" though, Tim should have just pointed to Milo and said, "He's they." That would have been comedy gold.
It would have only because he used to be gay. So I guess you could call him like someone who's transitioning. Also, it would be like so perfect. That's why I was offended by the whole they thing. I'm like, wait, what's he saying about us? I don't know. You're calling us like a they them type of thing, but it was just. But what we should take from that whole thing and Alex Jones and his appearance on Alex Jones yesterday is this is why cancel culture is so terrible. We need to allow this guy his platform to go out there and express himself so that everyone who later on would have come back and said, no, he doesn't really hate Jews. No, he didn't mean it. No, he was confused. It's like, no. He really just doesn't like Jews. And that's okay. That's his opinion. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Someone asked me about Nick Rekieta, who mentioned to Kanye, hey, if you want to come on my show, I'll give you full access. You can talk whatever you want. So someone in my locals chat was asking me, like, does that bother me? And I was like, hell no. No, that doesn't bother me. It's not like you're giving him more, not breathing life into anyone knowing about him. Everybody already knows Kanye. And you're just letting him go off there and spout like an idiot. I was like, Nick will probably make $25,000 from that one stream. God bless him if he does. And it's not like he's not changing hearts or minds.
Yeah.
What?
I don't think Ye's coming on Nick's show, but that's my personal opinion.
I don't know.
I don't think it's going to happen. But
you think Rittenhouse is going to go on his show?
No, that's more likely to happen. That would be more likely to happen. I will say though, I think I think Rittenhouse is managing his image very carefully now, and I think going on Nick's show and having those unscripted moments, because Nick is not going to script everything. He's not going to just have canned questions and canned responses. I mean, I'm sure that if Rittenhouse said, don't talk about these things, I'm sure that Nick would stay away from those things, but he's going to be unscripted. He's going to do Unbreaded. Can Kyle be on for an episode of Unbreaded? Can he stay on for Unbreaded? I mean, he's not gonna move over. Oh yeah, people mentioned that Fuentes hates Rekieta. So the fact that Fuentes is fucking with Kanye right now, they're like boys, and they're planning all this. I don't think that Fuentes would co-sign on that and would allow that access to Ye. I think he would deny that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Fuentes has that level of influence. I think he prays that he gets that level of influence. I think he does whatever Kanye wants. I don't think he's like sort of any sort of power there in what Kanye does. But he's totally simping for Kanye. So usually in that sort of dynamic, you would think that he would have very little influence about what Kanye does or doesn't do. But I think Kanye is so moody. He'll just go from one thing to the next, and I don't know, whatever.
I think he might be losing it because of the divorce too. Because I mean, look, a divorce is rough, right? So I mean, going through that,
$200,000 a month in alimony. 200, like she doesn't have gobs of her own money.
She has more. She makes more, Joe. She makes more than he does right now.
It's just like this is like anyone who thinks that women have it rough. Okay, you know what? In situations where the man is the predominant owner, money maker, that may be true. But it's not.
But in this case, it's actually not. Like, actually, she makes more. Her net worth is larger. She makes more every year, whether it's income or net worth. She makes more, and she still gets it because they gave her the primary. I think they gave her more custody of the kids or whatever, and it's based on who has the kids
No, he's
more
not
often,
gonna,
blah, 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 blah,
he's
blah.
not going to notice $2.5 million a year. But like with the way he blamed every problem in his life on Jews, whether it was like being silenced, whether it's the banks, whether it's now they want to throw him in prison.
I mean, shit, if he said Armenians, I would have felt more like, I've been like, oh, he's talking about Kim. So, I mean, I get it. You know,
well,
he's
that's
mad
what I
at
was
the
going to
Armenians
say.
right now.
I was
Yeah,
going to
let's
say
talk about Armenians.
every problem in his life is Jewish. I was like, I guess Kim Kardashian, he thinks is Jewish also. I don't know. But it was just really, ugh. I'm kind of bothered. I'm kind of bothered by the fact that she got $200,000 a month, because I'm like, you know what? At a certain point, it's like, just everyone keep your own money. Just keep your own money. You all have way too much. You all have plenty of money, more money than you're ever going to know what to do with it. You don't need money from him. But it is what it is.
So Fuentes, you're now convinced is just a grifter. You know, he's always been on the grift. He's always been working whatever the grift is. Look, I was convinced when I heard the stuff about the Cat Boys. Frankly, when I heard about him, you know,
what's the Cat Boys? I didn't know about him.
So Fuentes is pretty much known. Fuentes is reputed to be a person who is into men, not women, and he is into specifically young men who like to pretend they are cats. That is a cat boy.
How do you know this? How do you know this is true?
And he would give them this is something that the internet has put out there. This is something that there's been some backup on certain places on the internet. And I've seen some of it. I can't show all of it here.
Involving Nick
if we want to go,
you can get there's visuals involving Nick Fuentes with Cat Boys.
There's backup on that. There's backup on that.
Really?
On that. Yeah.
I
don't have it right now because this is not a Fuentes episode, but I've seen it.
I speculate with that because I think he's emotionally stunted. I speculated that someone touched him. Someone did something terrible to him when he was very small, because he's got such a weird personality. Well, it's borderline autistic.
That can be true, and that's true of a lot of people. A lot of people, Joe, because they are emotionally stunted, because something happened to them in their childhood, in their family, when they're very young, they have these deeper issues which cascade into attention-seeking behavior, clout-chasing behavior, which, by the way, both Nick Fuentes and Milo have in spades. They're like the epitome of a clout chaser.
Yes. Yes.
They'll do anything, even negative things, even the people that were their friends, by the way, screwing over Trump. Which by the way,
but I mean, and that was another point that I made. Like, I was like, you know, Kanye also was screwing over Trump, because while all this whole media circus is going around him, he's too anti-Semitic for a German company, for crying out loud, being fired by them. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go to this guy who spent the last 6 years trying to fight all these claims that he's a racist, anti-Semitic, you know, homophobic, whatever, and I'm going to go hang out with him this week, right after all this news is swirling around me. That's not, you think I would ever come on your channel and just start talking about voodoo topics? No, because I have enough respect for you. Right. I have enough respect for you that I don't want to cause you harm. And
you don't want to ruin my show intentionally. And these people are all people that have been on the internet. Nick Fuentes, Milo, they all know what gets you banned off of YouTube, what gets you banned off certain platforms. So they went on those shows 100% intentionally on Tim Pool to set that up, to have that walkout moment, to create that viral video.
And it's not just going on the shows. I'm saying showing up in Mar-a-Lago. You should have known this is not a week for you to go to Mar-a-Lago. And you bring Nick Fuentes with you, for crying out loud. Whether Trump knew who Nick Fuentes was or not, I'm sorry, it's really stupid on Trump's part. You know, I could love the guy as a president and the work that he did. This was idiotic of all times to bring Kanye West in. It's like if he brought him in 3 months ago, there was enough controversy around him. Right in the heart of all this controversy, he was being fired from Adidas. The Chappelle's doing these killer monologues about whether or not he's an anti-Semite, and that's when you're bringing him in for dinner at Mar-a-Lago. Like, what is going through your brain, Trump? His whole team. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. There's like no logic to it.
No, I think they were just thinking, hey, you know, this is a dinner with people I like, that people I think like me. And when he figured out they didn't, then it's like, okay.
Well, yeah. Well, if they like you, they would have enough common sense not to show up in your doorstep when you know that the media is going to basically use as an excuse to reaffirm the concept that, hey, you know what, Trump's totally okay with people who are racists. And hanging and dining with them. It's just not 2 weeks after you announce your candidacy. That's just not a smart look. But
no, I agree. And the thing is that Trump has enough problems, like that aside. You know,
that's my point.
He doesn't need to like bring any more on. Like, he doesn't need to court any more issues. Trump's already got a shit ton of issues. All right, let me get through some of these super chats here. Ben Jones says, "Gimp mask." Yeah, he isn't even in his final form. Oh man, that mask was. I don't know where he got that. I think it was Balenciaga, which is even more problematic given what's going on with Balenciaga right now and the CP issues, because bro, that story is insane. I haven't even gone down that rabbit hole.
Oh, we will.
I've got the links ready. No. But the thing is, I want to do deep dive so I can like put it all together, like mind map it out, you know. So I haven't had time because I'm on vacation. I'm like, I need a day to just go down this rabbit hole and put this together because this is nuts. I mean, we can do it on your show next week too. We can talk about it then. But I mean, just this craziness in between FTX exposing them and now Balenciaga. You know, these. I mean, it's not a joke anymore to say these people are connected to some shady ass shit. Magician Sapphire says, I'll say it again. I'll say it before. Kanye is an egomaniac. He wants attention and he's an ego stroke. Well, hanging out with Milo and with Nick Fuentes just shows that that's just a group of, you know, bipolar egomaniacs who are, you know, clout chasing to the max, who they're striving for relevancy. They're striving to push the boundary. And this time I think Kanye probably did go a bit too far.